this is Kate from Generate Magic. So today I want to talk about an idea that's somewhat controversial in the manifestation community. So it has to do with praying for other people, manifesting for others, like visualizing or affirming on behalf of other people or having them do it for you. Everyone is you pushed out. All of these ideas are interconnected to one another. And so obviously this is just my perspective, but I feel like when you hear it, you'll be able to see how this all makes sense from a very logical level, because I don't believe that logic and manifestation are opposed to one another. I believe they actually go together very well, and I think logic can actually be our friend in helping us to really kind of integrate these teachings into our lives on a deeper level. And so a lot of debate has kind of come up on when you're praying for somebody else, like, are you actually healing that person? Or what are the mechanisms behind kind of what's actually taking place? And obviously we can kind of hear many testimonials, many success stories that show the power of prayer, and how when people do pray for others, that person does end up healed as a result. But when let's say we have a loved one who is sick, and we pray that person is healed, and then the next day they call us up and they say how much better they're feeling. And so we're only experiencing that from our perspective, from our reality. And so you can kind of think of it as we're all interconnected, like in the divine mind, but at the same time, we're all individual points of consciousness. And so it's like we're all occupying our own little reality bubble. And so we can make speculations, we can certainly empathize with other people, but we can never with 100% certainty say what another person is experiencing in their reality bubble, simply because we cannot occupy their consciousness. And to me, this actually kind of helps us to be more compassionate and less judgmental, because it kind of helped me whenever I feel like I'm making assumptions about another person, or kind of telling, what another person's like. I'm like, no, this is only coming from my perspective, because I'm not in that person's head. And again, I can empathize with the person. I can try and see what it's like to be in that other person's shoes. But again, I'm not that other person. I'm not literally in their shoes, so I can't with 100% certainty say. And so I always try to view everything with an open mind, and I always try to give everybody the benefit of the doubts. And then at the same time, like when it comes to us, like this idea, right, that when somebody prays or manifests on behalf of us, it's only changing their perception, it's not actually changing us. To me, I find this thought very comforting, because I would not want somebody else tinkering with my consciousness. It would be kind of like I was a puppet, and that other person was literally just controlling me and just deciding and just kind of crafting my experience of reality according to whatever it is that they wanted for me. And so that, to me, does not sound very desirable. And certainly, again, we can say a lot about the power of prayer, but to give an example, like let's say that I was sick and I asked other people to pray for me, or let's say that I had a desire and I asked other people to affirm with me and to visualize that desire with me. And so if indeed that desire did come to fruition, or if indeed I was healed from my sickness, the power is still coming from me. It's not coming from these other people, but they are supporting me. And it's coming, a lot of people believe very deeply in the power of prayer, or in the power of co-creation. And so any results that we may experience is coming from our belief in that power. And to me, that's actually like a very beautiful thing. And at the same time, it still gives me agency. It still gives me free will. And this kind of gets into another question, and this kind of comes from the flip side of some people believe that it would be wrong to pray for somebody else without their consent, or to visualize or affirm, for instance, that their SP or their specific person loves them, because they believe that they are interfering with that person's free will. But if you think about it for a second, you see how paradoxical this is, because if free will was truly free, then nobody else could interfere with it. And so it would be impossible. And so when you are praying for somebody, or when you are visualizing your SP being more loving, all you're doing is you're changing your perception of that person. And then indeed, this does often change your experience with that person. And so you do start to experience more harmony with that person. And you start to experience a more loving relationship with your SP or with a family member, that perhaps you visualize yourself having a harmonious relationship with that family member, or you visualize a loved one who before was sick, all of a sudden in your experience, they are thriving, they are healthy, they are energetic, and it's a very beautiful thing. But just always kind of remember that this is your reality is your reality, and their reality is their reality. And I think, and so when it comes to everyone is you pushed out, and so yeah, let's say that let's again kind of give the example of, let's say you have a sister who is in the hospital, and so you start affirming, like let's say your sister's name is Sarah. So Sarah is happy, healthy, and thriving. And so you start affirming that, and sure enough, the next day, Sarah is home from the hospital, and she is indeed happy, healthy, and thriving. And so this does indeed prove that everyone is you pushed out, because Sarah is reflecting your new assumption of her. And on the flip side of this, if you continue to affirm that Sarah is sick, Sarah is doing terribly, like there's no hope for Sarah, then that is the reality that you will continue to experience. Or if you keep saying that your SP is such a jerk, that he doesn't commit, and again, then that's what you're going to keep experiencing. And so that's what's meant by everybody is you pushed out. It just means that that person reflects your assumptions of them. And so why not assume lovingly of them? And to go back to the golden rule, think about others as you would want them to think about you. But it does not mean that you're controlling that person. It certainly doesn't mean that that person is your puppet. And that is not, I certainly wouldn't want to be, as I said earlier, I certainly wouldn't want to be anybody else's puppet. So in turn, I do not see anybody else as being my puppet. And this whole idea of your SP does not have free will, like that just does not like align with me at all. And so I think I think in the end it's just about choosing to see others as something that aligns with your ideal. And for me, that would be peace, love, harmony, and to see others reflected in that way, and to see others as thriving and healthy, but to recognize at the end of the day, and this kind of helps, to keep my ego in check, that I am not controlling them, and I am not changing any aspect of their reality. Again, their reality is their reality, and my reality is my reality. And that, I believe, is a very kind of reassuring way and to go about living life, and a very compassionate way. Because again, you're not trying to project anything onto anybody else. You're letting everybody be exactly who they are, while choosing to see them in the most loving way. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. With that, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.